name's Cody Jones, and welcome back to a Peace Thing podcast. Today, I would normally have a guest or my two hosts on the podcast. You know what? I had an idea. Of like kind of going solo again for this episode. I don't know how many episodes it's gonna be just me, but I mean, I feel that it might be great. That way we can just really connect with one another. That way we can really just like vibe out, just you and me. It's like you could be listening on your way to work, you could be listening while you're at school, you could be listening while cooking or cleaning or or on the toilet or some shit. So it's like it's just you and me talking and vibing. Now, by the time that this Jesus. By the time that this episode comes out, it will already be sometime in November, maybe early November. And I had this thought, because like with November, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I really felt that it would be important, to really just take some time away from the rants, the interviews, the stories and everything, just really have a one-to-one with you guys, because honestly, man, it's like mental health awareness is a very huge deal. It is a very serious deal. And, it's like, that's the thing about this podcast is that it's not just about rants, topics, hilarity, debates, and all that shit. It is also about awareness. It is also about, like, just stepping out of the funny side and get, into the real. Just get real with everyone. Let everyone know that, hey, we hear you, we see you. At a Peace Thing podcast, we are here for you. We support you. We got nothing but love for you. You guys, you absolutely matter. We love y'all. We care for you. And honestly, man, this episode has been something really serious to just talk about, and let you guys know that you matter. We love y'all. We love you. We care about you no matter what. If there was anything on your mind, speak up. Don't let your fear silence you. If you are struggling, then there is an escape from it. We all struggle, but we all pull through the struggle at the end. If you feel suicidal, you should silence those thoughts, those negative emotions, silence them. Think about yourself. Think about the people that love you. Think about the people that care for you. You are not alone in this situation. It's like if these thoughts are going on in your head, then you need to shut those silence up. Let them know, you know what? I'm not going to be another name. I'm not going to be another poor soul that killed themselves because of depression. I'm not going to be another one. No, I'm going to silence these suicidal thoughts, and I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to keep living, and I'm going to keep going. We all must keep going. We all must keep moving forward. Your time to shine is coming. Your time to really, like, be seen is coming soon. We love y'all. Seriously. It's like this. Your life matters more than you can even imagine. I care about you. We care about you. Mental health is a very serious thing, and there's nothing more serious than that. It's like if you're in therapy, then I think that is absolutely the best choice. There's nothing wrong with needing help. There's nothing wrong with going to therapy, with getting professional help from people that care about you and that want to help you, you know? Because, like I said, man, I mean, we all need it, you know? Therapy is by far one of the most helpful things that anyone can ask for. Don't let your pride tell you that you don't need help. Don't let your pride tell you that you don't need therapy, that you don't need to speak to a professional. Because honestly, pride, pride is a motherfucker. Seriously. Pride will not help with everything. Pride can be the downfall. You know, if you're not getting help, if you're not going to therapy, that pride will just lead you into a much deeper and darker hole. You know, seeking help, going to therapy, speaking to a professional, silence that pride and get the help that you need because you never know that might help you, it will help you pull you out of that dark depressing rut of a hole that you were stuck in. you know if you feel alone, then I want y'all to understand that it's not just you. If anything, making friends, sharing similar interests is the best way to start. It's like I like in high school, I was never really the communicative type. It's like there were moments where I would just completely stick to myself, because like high school was weird. School itself was weird, especially like meeting new unfamiliar faces. Like it felt weird. It felt different. It felt unfamiliar. We're all used to that familiarity. We're all used to being around the people that we already knew and became friends with. But when some of those people are not in your life for a long time and it's just you, it's a scary feeling. It's a very uncomfortable feeling, just being alone and like being to yourself, you know? But it never needs to be that way, You don't always need to be alone, you know? If you are alone, even in school, then it's never too late to stand up and just meet people, Talk to someone, say hi, compliment them, talk about a similar interest that you might share with them. If you see someone's shirt, compliment them, engage them, talk about their shirt, talk about the books or games or music, you know, engage in conversation because engaging in the conversation with people, it might make more friends than you know. And if some people are dicks, then fuck them, move on to the next. You know? It's like you give it a try. Some people might see you as weird, but weird is not bad. Weird is unique. Weird is limited edition. You know? I mean, shit, in high school, I was a weird motherfucker. You know? Even today, I'm still a weird motherfucker. I mean, I mean, you would clearly tell by listening to the fucking stories that I would be sharing on the podcast. It's like there's so many fucking stories and all that shit. It's like you guys would think, wow, this guy's a fucking weirdo. But, I mean, weird is not bad. Weird is unique. So if people see you as weird, and that's fine, That's completely okay. And if they don't like it, well, that's on them. That's their problem. You know? But engaging with other people, that is the most fun thing that you can do is having a conversation, making friends, talking to them. It's like a lot of my friends, I engaged with them by compliments or by similar thoughts or opinions or interests, you know? So it's like, honestly, man, um, it's like, honestly, I was a weirdo, but I met friends through similar interests, topics, opinions. Some of them fucking got me into arguments and shit, but I engaged with them and we saw a balance through those rants, through those arguments, through those debates. We found balance, like we agree to disagree, but at least we're communicating. And you never know. That balance and communication might earn you a friend, you know? And if you're dealing with being alone, like you feel like you lost your family, I know a lot of people are losing family, especially in like in the Middle East, it's like with Israel and Palestine and all that. I'm not going to get into all that because I don't want to offend many people. It's like I had some lady get on my ass about supporting Israel and all that, and it was a very sensitive topic. It's like she was really pissed off, and I don't know. I'm not gonna get into all that, but it's like a lot of people, a lot of children are losing people because of wars, because of depression, sadly, because of shootings. It's like you might feel like, wow, I lost some of the people that I was really close to and I felt alone. And you know what? Honestly, the best I can do is tell you that we are deeply sorry. You know, we are very, absolutely 1000% sorry for some of you that are going through that kind of situation and that kind of feeling. It's like I couldn't imagine what it's like. It's like I lost a friend to depression. I lost a friend to a hit and run. I lost a friend uh, a year ago or so. I lost a friend a year ago or so. He was giving someone a ride to Lancaster in the Antelope Valley, and I don't know what happened, how it happened, or even why, but it ended with with my best friend and his cousin getting shot. One of them being wounded, and the other one not making it. You know, I think I talked about this a while ago, early in this season, and um, how it really fucked me up. It's like it really put me into a very um, dark and emotional place. Because he was like a little brother, to me. So hearing that from his mother, it really uh, pushed me off the rails, and it's like I was really dealing with some very negative thoughts, and some of those negative thoughts were violent thoughts, and they were not they were not good. They were terrible. They weren't me. I'm not a very violent person, and I wish no ill on anyone. Because honestly, it's like with that kind of mental state, it's unhealthy, it's very dark, and it's just not the right path, you know. And again, I absolutely get it, you know. It's like there are so many moments where I really wanted to just lash out or go to Palmdale and do something about it. But I know if I did that, it would just completely destroy everything that I worked for. It would push all the people I loved away. And it would just lead me into a much darker place. And I can't do that. I can't do that to you. I can't do that to anyone, you know? So I don't understand what it's like to to lose anyone to school shootings or to wars, but I know what it's like to lose people. So in a way, you're not alone in this. You know, I lost my father to a stroke, and it really damaged me. But in a way, it motivated me. Time is limited. The life we live is limited. But it doesn't mean that you're alone in this. We're here for you. We're here with you. We are always listening. We will always care for you. And if you're dealing with something like this, then, you know, make contact with people. Let them know that you are feeling alone, you feel depressed, and you need comfort, you know. There's nothing wrong with that in no way, shape, or form, you know. If you're feeling alone, if you're feeling depressed, if you're a victim and um, if you lost someone and you need to connect with someone to help release that weight, that burden, then go for it, you know? Seriously, go for it, you know? And again, to the victims, to wars, to depression, to school shootings, if you really feel alone, then we are absolutely sorry for you to deal with that kind of thing, with that kind of feeling. But you don't have to go about this alone, you know? We're here for you regardless. So it's like, honestly, we will always stand at your side. This podcast is not made for just hilarity, stories, rants, topics, debates, interviews, guests. You know, this podcast is for the people, you know, and I've mentioned that in similar interviews, you know. A P Thing podcast is not just a podcast thing. It's not a panda thing. It's not a Palmdale thing. It is also a people thing. This podcast is a people's thing too. Because this podcast is not just about us. It is also all about you. This podcast is for you. It's about you. And some of them we might get on people's asses about. But this podcast is also for the fans. This podcast is also for people that are just like in very dark places, and we are the ones that want to give you that light, you know. If you're in a dark place, our podcast can be the light, you know. We can be the entertainment that will put a smile on your face, really challenge your thoughts, or have you debating or conspiring. It's like this podcast is strictly for people that want to just listen and enjoy, listen and think, listen and laugh. You know, you guys can laugh at my bullshit. You guys can like agree and or disagree with some of our opinions or my opinions. You know, it's like that's what this whole podcast is about. It is about you. It is for you, and it is for everyone else, and it's about everyone else. It is a people's podcast. You know, this is made for you. I do this, and I love doing this because you people listen to it. You know, And if you feel dismissed by the world, then, well, fuck them, you know? Seriously, straight up, fuck them. Because we're not going to dismiss you. We're not going to silence you. We're not going to push you away, you know? If your family or friends are pushing you away, are dismissing you, and not giving you any attention and everything, if you feel like as if they're completely just ducking and dodging you, then you know what? Fuck them, you know? Seriously, you don't have to deal with that kind of shit, you know? Sometimes being your own friend can be a good thing, you know? Because eventually we all have to count on ourselves. We all have to rely on ourselves, you know? I'm not saying that it's a good thing to be alone. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be alone, but sometimes it's like, I guess it's just a matter of situation, you know? It's good to have friends, but sometimes, if necessary, it's good to be to yourself, you know? Really let your thoughts out. Let all of that negativity, all the burdens, just let it all out, you know? Do something creative to let all that weight and all that burden out, you know? Create a podcast, write something, uh, draw something, play games, listen to music, you know? It's like there's so many ways that you can just let all that weight off your shoulders and just let all the negativity out, you know? Just push all that negative shit out of your system and use it in a more creative and more positive way, you know? It's like when I was in high school, poetry was my escape. Poetry, it helped me write down my thoughts, my feelings, my opinions. You know, poetry was my escape. And, it's like there were so many times when I really wanted to smash something, because growing up in Pondell, we used to live near a field. It was like right across from McAdams Park. We would find a bunch of shit, like a bunch of scraps and TVs and shit, and we would just let all of the negativity out of our systems by bashing the shit out of TVs in a field, or walking around and just talking and shit, hanging out by the creek, you know. Um, like there are so many ways that you can just let all that weight off your shoulders, But again, it's like sometimes being alone is not always a bad thing. I mean, if you spend a lot of time holding on to those negative thoughts and being alone, it can be very depressing. But again, there'll be moments when being alone can be rather positive if you spend that time alone in a more positive and productive way. There's so many things that you can do to help with that weight, you know. So if the world dismisses you, and fuck them, if you feel like this podcast is making you feel less alone, then, I mean, listen all you want, Any podcast can help you feel less alone. Any podcast can help you feel like as if you're not, um, make you feel like as if you're not alone, that you can find some kind of enjoyment out of listening to someone or listening to us. I mean, you can be listening to Distractible, you can be listening to Brain Leak, or, there are so many fucking podcasts out there. So you can be listening to anyone. And if listening to podcasts, listening to music, listening to audiobooks, anything like these things, any form of entertainment, then, it's like finding those kind of things can help you feel like as if um, you're not being dismissed, you know? It's like some podcasts won't get into serious topics like this, but that's what we do. It's like we're not afraid to step into the seriousness that should be mentioned. So it's like, honestly, we will not dismiss you. And honestly, we are here. I am here. I care. I care for you. I love y'all. And I'll always be at your corner till the ends of the earth. You matter. You will always matter. And honestly, man, it's like, no matter what, we're at your side. You know? So I think that these are the most important things to really, uh, like, really discuss about with mental health. You know? Like, this episode is for people who are struggling mentally, for people who are suffering with suicidal thoughts, with people who are scared to speak up, with people who are in therapy, with people who are feeling alone, and people who are feeling dismissed by society and by the world and by everyone in general. You don't have to deal with any of those things. You don't have to deal with any of that. If you're scared to speak up, silence. If you're scared to speak up, speak louder. If you're dealing with suicidal thoughts, silence them. If you are mentally struggling, then push through that struggle and remind yourself that you will get out of it. You will escape from that struggle. It won't be easy, I'm telling y'all that, but there is an escape. If you are feeling dismissed by society, then fuck them. If you're feeling alone, we're here for you. We won't let you feel alone. We are the ones that will help you feel less alone, but really we will help you feel like as if you have company. And if you are in therapy, then more power to you. More power to you. Get the help you need. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes seeking help and seeking therapy can be the best thing that you will ever find, because it will help you get better. It will help you cure yourself from the negativities that you are feeling, with the negativities that you are thinking, or with the burdens or the pain. You know, it's like you could be dealing with anything, and therapy can help you with it. Therapy is a serious thing, and it can pull you out of the darkest holes. I mean, you won't know unless you try. But honestly, man, it's like, as I said, this podcast, it's for everyone. It is for you, it is for me, it is for the guests, it is for Michael and Daquan. This podcast is for everyone, you know? It's not called a P Thing podcast for nothing. It is a people's podcast. It is a public podcast. It is, it's like we are the light. This podcast is the light. If you're in a dark place, we will help you through that dark place. If you feel like you're alone, then you can listen to us or listen to anyone else, and we'll help you feel less alone. I don't know how many podcasters will really get into the topic of mental health awareness, but, well, we're not afraid to get into it, because it is serious and it does need to be discussed. Some people don't have to talk about it. I mean, they run their own podcast how they will. But unlike us, we're not afraid to get into it. We're not afraid to talk about it. And quite frankly, this podcast, it's for you. We'll get into the seriousness if necessary. We'll get into the awarenesses that should be discussed because they're important. But other than that, I mean, I really wanted to make this episode for you and for everyone, you know, because this is more important than you can imagine. You know, this one was really important to record because I completely forgot that November was mental awareness month. Like I absolutely forgot about it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna front and say like, oh, I knew November was mental health awareness. Like, no, I completely forgot about that. I didn't know until I saw it on Daquan's post. And I thought, oh shit, I completely forgot about that it's November. You know, that November is for mental health awareness. And so I thought, you know what? Whether or not we record, whether or not I even intend to record, who gives a fuck, you know? I want to take the time to really just get into something serious, you know? Let everyone know that we see you. We see the awarenesses, and, you know, that's what this whole episode is about. Mental health awareness. We acknowledge it, and we will happily talk about it, you know? And also, one more thing before I call it an episode. I will be dropping a link down in the description below for suicidal helplines and every other hotlines that can really be of help and of use to anyone and everyone, you know, because again, it's like it is important to be aware of these things, you know. If you are dealing with suicidal thoughts, then there's a link down below for the hotline. And honestly, I don't know how many times I'm going to be saying this, but I'll say it as many times as I deem necessary. We at a P Thing Podcast, we love you all. We care for you all. We see you all. We're here for you. We acknowledge you. And we are right here at your side. You know, so if you're dealing with anything like this, if this podcast is helping you through those dark places, through those dark thoughts and everything, then, well, we hope that this podcast can help you feel less alone and less depressed, you know. But other than that, I hope you guys really enjoy this episode. This episode was specifically made for you. But other than that, again, we love y'all. We hope you enjoy this podcast episode. I hope you enjoy this episode. And honestly, I'll just say it again. We care for you and we love you. You know, if you are dealing with suicidal thoughts, then stay here. Don't do anything irrational. Don't make a permanent mistake over a temporary situation. You know, that is the best advice I can give you. Do not make a permanent decision over a temporary issue. You know, we love you and we care for you. Stay here with us. You know, we hope to be the light in your dark days. And I hope you guys enjoy this episode. I hope you guys really take what I said to the heart, you know, because this was made for you. All these thoughts and opinions all came from the heart for you. So, again, I really hope you guys enjoy this episode. I really hope that you take what I said to the heart and really hold it close to you. We are the light into your darkness. We will help you get through those moments. I'll see you guys in the next episode. I'm out. Peace. We love you.